The Empire had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 years. Their ships were massive. Their weapons were powerful. Their soldiers numbered in the trillions. No species had ever challenged them and survived. The Emperor himself, the Eternal, sat upon a throne made from the bones of conquered kings. He believed nothing in the universe could threaten his rule. On the edge of the galaxy there was a small yellow star. Around it a blue planet spun quietly. They called it Sector 7 Gamma. The humans who lived there called it Earth. For centuries the Empire ignored this tiny world. The humans were primitive. They fought each other with simple weapons. They had no starships. They posed no threat. But things changed quickly. In just 200 years, humans went from riding horses to building rockets. They reached their moon. They sent machines to other planets. They discovered faster than light travel. The speed of their progress was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. When human ships first appeared near space, the Empire took notice. Admiral Vex was the first to recommend caution. He stood before the War Council with his report in hand. His 4 eyes scanned the room full of generals and politicians. "These humans are different," he said. "Their technology improves at an alarming rate. They adapt faster than any species we have studied. I suggest we establish diplomatic relations before they become a problem." The council laughed at him. High General slammed his massive fist on the table. "You want us to fear creatures who were living in mud huts 300 years ago. They are insects, nothing more." The Emperor agreed with his general. He sent a simple message to the humans. The message was clear: stay within your borders. Do not expand beyond your current territory. Any violation will result in complete destruction. The humans received the warning. They studied it carefully. Their leaders met in secret rooms and discussed their options. They were not fools. They knew the Empire was powerful. They had seen the size of their fleets. They understood what they were facing. But humans had a quality that they did not understand. They did not accept limits placed upon them by others. They did not bow to threats. Throughout their history, they had faced impossible odds and survived. They had fought plagues, wars, and natural disasters. They had clawed their way up from caves to reach the stars. A warning from an alien empire would not stop them. Earth's government sent a polite response. They acknowledged the message. They expressed their desire for peace. But they also stated clearly that humanity would not be contained. They would continue to grow. They hoped the Empire would understand. The Emperor read the response and felt rage burning inside him. No species had ever him, not once in 12,000 years. He ordered the 7th Fleet to teach the humans a lesson. 5,000 warships set course for human space. Their mission was simple: destroy a few colonies, kill enough humans to make them afraid, show them what happens to those who disobey. Commander led the attack on New Haven, a human colony on the edge of their territory. His fleet of 200 ships surrounded the planet. He expected the humans to surrender immediately. Instead, he received a message from the colony's governor. "You have entered human space without permission. Leave now or face the consequences." Laughed at the message, he ordered his ships to begin bombardment. The first wave of plasma fire rained down toward the planet's surface. Then something unexpected happened. Defense platforms hidden beneath the planet's surface came alive. Weapons that they had never seen before fired into space. The technology was strange. It bent space itself. Ships that were hit simply vanished, folded into nothing by gravitational forces that should not exist. Lost 40 ships in the first minute. He ordered a retreat, but more weapons activated. Missiles emerged from the planet's moons. They moved faster than anything sensors could track. Another 60 ships were destroyed before the fleet could escape. When reported to the Emperor, the entire court fell silent. The 7th Fleet had been defeated by a single colony. This had never happened before. The Emperor refused to accept this failure. He ordered the entire Third Armada to mobilize. 50,000 ships. enough firepower to destroy 100 worlds. He would personally oversee the destruction of humanity. But the humans were not waiting to be attacked. While the Empire gathered its forces, humanity was preparing. Every factory on every human world switched to war production. New weapons were designed and built in weeks. Ships that had been theoretical concepts became reality in months. Human scientists worked day and night. They studied the captured technology and improved upon it. They found weaknesses in the Empire's shields. They developed weapons specifically designed to exploit those weaknesses. Their creativity was boundless. Their determination was absolute. When the Third Armada arrived at the border of human space, they found something waiting for them. A wall of human ships stretched across the void. Not thousands, not tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands of vessels built in secret shipyards that the Empire had never detected. Admiral commanded the human fleet. She was small by standards, fragile-looking, but her eyes held no fear. She had grown up on stories of human survival. She knew what her species could accomplish when threatened. The battle began with the Empire confident of victory. They had numbers, they had experience. They had ruled the galaxy but the humans had something else. They had the will to win at any cost. Human ships moved in ways that seemed impossible. Their pilots pushed their vessels beyond safe limits. They took risks that no would consider. Some flew their ships directly into enemy formations and detonated their reactors. They traded one human life for thousands of enemy soldiers. They had never seen such tactics. In their culture, individual lives were precious. No soldier would sacrifice themselves so willingly. But humans were different. They understood that sometimes survival required sacrifice. They fought not for glory but for the people behind them, for their families, for their future. The battle lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Third Armada was scattered. Half their ships were destroyed. The rest were retreating in chaos. The Emperor himself barely escaped when his flagship was targeted by a coordinated human strike. News of the defeat spread across the galaxy. Species that had been conquered began to whisper. If these humans could defeat the Empire, perhaps others could too. Rebellions sparked on a dozen worlds. The Empire's grip began to weaken. The Emperor called an emergency meeting of his council. For the first time in his long life, he felt something unfamiliar: fear. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They were primitives, they had nothing." Admiral Vex stepped forward. His earlier warning had been ignored. Now he spoke with grim satisfaction. "I tried to tell you, these humans are not like other species. They do not accept defeat. When you push them, they push back harder. When you threaten them, they prepare. When you attack them, they fight with everything they have. You gave them a warning and time to prepare. That was your greatest mistake." The Emperor ordered Vex imprisoned for his disrespect, but the Admiral's words haunted him. He had underestimated these creatures. Now his empire was bleeding. The humans did not stop at defense. They pushed forward into space. They freed conquered species and armed them. They destroyed military outposts and supply lines. Every month they gained more territory. Every battle they grew stronger. 5 years after the first attack on New Haven, human ships appeared in orbit around the empire that had ruled for 12,000 years faced its final moment. Admiral sent a message to the Emperor. It was simple and direct. "You warned us to stay in our place. You threatened us with destruction. You attacked our people. Now we are here. We do not want to destroy your world. We are not like you. But your empire ends today. You can surrender and live in peace, or you can fight and die. The choice is yours." The Emperor considered his options. His fleet was broken. His allies had abandoned him. The species he had conquered now fought against him. He had ruled through fear, and now that fear had turned against him. He surrendered. The fall of the Empire changed the galaxy forever. A new age began, one where humans stood at the center. They did not seek to conquer or enslave. They built alliances based on respect and cooperation. The species they freed became their partners, not their subjects. Historians would later study how a small species from an unremarkable planet had defeated the greatest empire the galaxy had ever known. They would analyze the battles and the strategies. But the true answer was simpler than any analysis could explain. They had seen humans as weak because they were small and young. They measured strength in size and age and numbers. But humans measured strength differently. They measured it in determination, in creativity, in the willingness to fight for what mattered. When the Empire sent their warning, they expected obedience. They expected fear. They did not understand that humans had spent their entire history refusing to accept limits. They had conquered their own planet against impossible odds. Reaching the stars was just another challenge to overcome. Admiral Vex, released from prison after the surrender, was asked what he thought humanity's greatest advantage had been. He considered the question carefully before answering. "They never believed they could lose," he said. "Every other species we conquered accepted their defeat eventually. They would fight for a time, then submit. But humans never submitted. Even when they were losing, they believed victory was possible. That belief made them dangerous. That belief made them unstoppable." Years later, when human children learned about the war in their schools, they were taught an important lesson. The galaxy had believed humanity was small and weak. The galaxy had been wrong. Humans had proven that size did not determine strength. What mattered was the fire that burned inside, the refusal to give up, the courage to stand against those who would take your freedom. The border warning that the Empire sent had been meant to keep humanity contained. Instead, it became the spark that ignited a fire across the galaxy. The Emperor had believed his power was absolute. He learned too late that true power came not from threats but from the hearts of those willing to fight for their future. The Empire overlooked the warning signs. They ignored the advice of those who saw the truth. They underestimated a species that had never learned how to surrender. And when the dust settled, the galaxy belonged not to those who had ruled through fear, but to those who had fought through hope. Humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same.